How we doing, everybody? Tim from Ski Rex Media coming at you once again for a brand new Ski Rex Media podcast. And this week we have a brand new guest. Or do we? Did you really pay attention to the title of this one? Did you really pay attention to the thumbnail in this one? You know, for the episode, not the pictures, but the words, the name. You saw that today's guest is Tim Meyer, and technically the last two episodes were solos, so wouldn't that be Tim Meyer? But there is a second person here, and my name being Tim Meyer will become relevant as the episode goes on. Oh yes, now you get to sit for a few minutes and wonder, am I just putting my own name as an interview just to express some more of my narcissism? Or is there's someone else here? And some of you already may know the answer to that. Some of you may not. But in any case, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know it's been several days since St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day was last Friday, no matter if you are listening to this early access ad-free on Patreon or you listen to the general audience publication on Wednesday. Either way, last Friday was St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day, and I hope you celebrated safely. I hope you got turns in somewhere. All of New England is open. Most of New England is open. Not everything. I mean, obviously there are places in New England that did have to close before this storm and didn't get this storm, but we all got the storm around here, man. Let me tell you, I was working at Whaleback, one of my very, very last lifty shift at Whaleback this season. And, you know, real quick, thank you to Whaleback for the opportunity. It was a lot of fun. That was all Alex who got me in on that one. And I saw John quite a bit while I was there, and I met all their lifties, and shout out to Scott, who, you know, is their lifty supervisor. And he taught me all kinds of stuff about lifting and everything. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a good job. It got a little stressful, got a little weird, but I am going to exploit it. So thank you to Whaleback for the opportunity to be a lifty for this season. But as I was saying, I was there, and it was snowing, and it was snowing, and it was snowing, and it kept snowing, and it kept snowing. Now, they got that when I left that day, I think they were around a foot, just a foot. But it kept snowing, and it was some treacherous for me getting home. It took me like 45 minutes to get home. Well, a drive that usually takes me 15 took me like 45 minutes to get home. That's how treacherous it was out. That's how much snow was falling. It was everywhere. But people were braving it to get that fresh powder, man, and it didn't stop. It continued into Wednesday. It snowed most of the day Wednesday, and then I went skiing there on Thursday at around 2:30. That means they had been open for about a half hour, and it was snowing when I got there. I don't know if it continued to snow Tuesday into Wednesday into Thursday, but it was still snowing, and the mountain is 100%, and it's nice. It's a nice 100%, anything you want. In fact, before I say anything you want, let's go into where I usually say anything you want about Whaleback Mountain, man. Whaleback Mountain, exit 16 off of I-89 in Enfield, New Hampshire. They have everything you want for skiing. Do you want easy trails that are nice and groomed up? They have them. Do you want something a little more difficult that's completely natural, no snowmaking, no grooming? They have that too. I like to call those trails on the mountain cardio areas, because you need cardio, because you actually have to ski and then your lungs get nice and winded. At least I do. So make sure you're working on your cardio throughout the season, kids. Head on over to Whaleback. They have all of that. They have the easy, they have the harder, they have the trees, they have a very nice terrain park. I've been hearing some good things about their terrain park this season. They have been doing well and wonderful and have gotten a little bit of a boost. And it's, even though you're going to miss it if you're out there tonight, they're having St. Patrick's Day fun. And by the end of March, they're going to be into pond skimming just like everybody else. It's a great, great mountain, and I think you would enjoy it for all the activities they have, plus all the skiing they have, plus they can teach you to do it, plus they can rent you gear, plus they have the lodge, they have the whatever you want, whatever you need, easy to get to with a great price with a $50 ticket on the weekends. $40 during the week, if I'm not mistaken. Whaleback Mountain is awesome. Highly recommended. My home mountain. I am a pass holder. I was a lifty, and I think everybody should try it out. Visit it when you can. Whaleback Mountain. Ski it to believe it. And if you need a set of sticks or a skiboard, or ski boards too, or a snowboard, and you need something new and you want it to be custom length, custom width, custom graphics, custom whatever you need, an embedded NFC label, something, anything, St. Skis, Saint Custom Skis and Snowboards in Gorham, New Hampshire. Saint Skis, they can put together whatever you want. Like I said, if you want something of a specific length, they'll do it. Width, they'll do it. Graphics, they'll do it. Even if there's swear words and naughty pictures, they will do it. If you want something custom, head on over to their website, saintskis.com, also linked in the description, and then give them a contact, give them a shout out, give them a call, give them an email, whatever it is, and they will get it done for you. They will help you get that done. I will be riding a pair of Saint Skis myself, and that's going to be awesome, and I can't wait because we're going to make skiing metal again. Saint Skis and Snowboards, Saint Custom Skis and Snowboards, saintskis.com in Gorham, New Hampshire. Check them out. So now that I'm through the reads, let's talk about the bit that we're doing here today, the bit that has people wondering, at least I really hope they will be wondering, if my narcissism has reached a whole new level, and I put in the title of the episode that I am interviewing myself. Is that what's going on here? I know you want to know. Have I actually flipped that switch? Have I actually gone that far? Of course I haven't gone that far. It's just a bit, and you know what? We're going to get into it. So without further ado, let's bring on this week's guest. I certainly hope that seeing the title of this podcast and the thumbnail confused every single honest listener that I have and say, why are you interviewing yourself and what's a Caberfae Peaks? And I have to thank Stuart Winchester for this bit because he did it to me. We were at Gunstock for the media event that was there that one day. We were both there. He walks up, he shows me this phone of his Storm Skiing Podcast and Journal episode, Journal and podcast number 50, and with the guest Tim Meyer. And I was like, wait, what? We didn't do this. I don't remember this. And what's a Caberfae Peaks? And he's like, it's not you, dude. It's someone else the same name. So let's welcome Tim Meyer from Michigan. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for doing this, dude, because as I was just saying before we started recording, I am interested in the Michigan ski culture until I find a better word than culture. I was just saying, we talked to Tim Smith at Waterville Valley. He's from Michigan, says it's a wonderful thing. He was the one who told me that Michigan has the second most ski areas in the country, in the U.S., which I love that stat, that one in New York State, because everybody immediately goes to the Rockies. Like, do you all wear that with pride, you that work on the industry up there?
Yeah, we sure do. Yeah, we've got a lot of skiers. It's a big industry in Michigan.
I've heard it is very big out there. I heard it is a die-hard culture. It is, it's not the highest of the high for mountains, but that's okay. You all still get out there and you still love it.
Yeah, and we are a big feeder for the Western resorts and the Eastern resorts. So people will start skiing at places like Caberfae and even some of the smaller hills down by the cities, and they fall in love and they buy passes and they buy equipment and they become lifelong skiers, but they still take that trip, every year for a week out to Colorado or Utah or Canada or to Vermont or New Hampshire or New York, and so we feed the big resorts.
Awesome.
They need us.
Oh, totally. 100%. And we thank you for it, man. Like, there's no joke. We love it here in New England too. And, we'll sit out in the parking lot after a day, all day, just swapping stories. In fact, I was recently talking about how skiing is a social sport. We all know that, but it is a storyteller sport, man. You cannot go more than 5 feet without hearing a story from someone. And that's what we're here to talk about today, in a way, is Michigan stories. Now, let's start off with Caberfae Peaks. Now, I'm coming at this from someone who, A, has the memory of a goldfish, and B, will openly admit I don't know the name and the location and everything of every single ski area and resort in the U.S. or the world. And I expect and am impressed by those who can look at a blank trail map and say, that's this, that's that, that's this. I was like, I can't even do that with my home mountain, and I'm there 2-3 times a week. So it's rough. So let's talk about Caberfae Peaks. What is it? Where is it? And what do you do there?
Caberfae Peaks is located 12 miles west of Cadillac, Michigan, in the Lower Peninsula. We are 100 miles straight north of Grand Rapids,
Okay.
We're about 2 hours south of the Mackinac Bridge. So we're what they call it northern lower Michigan.
Okay.
And there's 6 major lower peninsula ski areas, and we are the southernmost of those 6.
Okay.
So there's others as well, but there's like the major, kind of the major players are the 6 of us in the lower peninsula.
Sure.
And so, and I am the mountain operations manager.
Okay.
So I take care of the lifts, snowmaking, grooming, ski patrol, and everything on the hill.
Awesome. So operations, that's going to be awesome because I'm going to ask you a few things about the history too. And because what I have here is Stuart Winchester's written part and it's going to be interesting, I think, from an operations standpoint, a picture he put in the written article from 1980 where your hill was all surface lifts and then it's grown from there. So have you been there long enough to see that?
So this place opened in 1938.
Sure.
And that was a little bit before my time. But it had, like in its heyday, it had, there was a time, I mean, the number of tow ropes that it had at any given time, we're not really sure. We tried to piece it together. But anywhere from 16 to 20 rope tows actually all existed at the same time. And there were 6 T-bars. And then 2 double chairlifts were added in the late 60s.
Okay.
2 haul doubles, and then that's what it looked like so it was 2 haul double chairlifts, 6 T-bars, and about probably about a dozen working rope tows when I first came here in the early 80s as a kid.
Sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, it's hard to picture. I don't know, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I haven't been anywhere. We're going at this like I don't know what I'm talking about, which is pretty accurate anyway. That many surface lifts, like surface lifts seem to be taking over the years have gone down in number nationally, I think. Is that about accurate?
Yeah, yes, I think it is. The especially like T-bars, they still put them in. A lot of times they use them where wind is an issue.
Sure.
They do have their place, but most people don't want to ride a surface lift. They want to sit on a chair. That's just so much more comfortable.
It can be. I don't know, man. And that's one of the reasons I brought it up. And from an operations standpoint, do you think you could, and again, all the like lengths of run, vertical, all this other stuff aside, what do you think it would be like to run a hill with that much surface lift and a couple chairs versus what you have now?
I just can't even imagine the logistics of trying to get lift operators. The ridge that was Caberfae at one time was really long. So the expanse was huge. So I can't even imagine. That was before they had, snowmobiles or reliable snowmobiles, or maybe they had one snowmobile for the whole ski resort. The lift operators must have had to walk. They must have had to walk.
Sure.
It would just had people spread all over the place. I can't even imagine trying to patrol that, trying to staff that. I think it would be a lot.
I can only imagine. Now, I've been doing some lifty work over here at Whaleback and just over the river in New Hampshire, and I've gotten to do the T-bar myself. They have one. That's where I finally got it, where I could ride it consistently without going down. It took me a long time, and it is one of the most, not hated lifts, but it is difficult. Snowboarders have extra trouble on them. Kids who are really small, who don't weigh anything, have trouble on it. All kinds of different stuff, and it just can cause so much havoc. And a rope tow similar. I like you said, I can't imagine the logistics of it. I can't imagine patrolling it. I can't imagine the pileups, and yet they were doing it back in the day. That's incredible.
Yeah, they were. Yep.
Now, part of what I wanted to ask you, and again, I'm not big into stereotypes, but people say that the Michigan ski culture, and again, I use culture loosely until I can come up with a better word, but that's a whole other podcast to explain that. That's a whole other thing. But um, the Michigan ski culture is hard earned, like tough, like I don't know. I can't even really put a good set of word to it, but do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say? I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I see and talk to people every single day who, most of them come from the city. So Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Detroit, northern Indiana, like Fort Wayne. So you got tons and tons of people who work downstate, and this is their passion, right? So this is what they want to do with this is what they spend their recreation money on, and this is what they do, and they live for it. Just like I lived in Winter Park, Colorado for 10 years.
Sure.
So I worked for Winter Park Resort, lived the Western life. It's the mentality of the skiers is the same.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, what your topography looks like. If you've got a hill with snow on it, the passion's the same.
Absolutely. We here in New England believe the same thing, and that's what I try to say. I like, every area of the country and the world might have a little things, little itty bitty whatever it is, but generally speaking, we're all the same. Like, it's just, did you learn in New England so you ski ice? Did you learn in the West so you ski powder? Did you learn in Michigan and ski? God, I'm not even sure what you guys would have out there.
We have to make our own. So we are really good at making snow. So we have some of the most sophisticated snowmaking systems in the country are in the Midwest.
Okay.
And so we've got, for our hill, we have about 200 acres we make snow on, and we can pump 3,000 gallons of water a minute up the hill.
All right.
And we have over 150 guns on tower, or snowmaking machines on towers scattered throughout our hill. So we make our own, and we've gotten pretty good at it. So we make pretty good quality snow. So our snow that we're skiing on is typically, it's pretty good as long as the temperatures stay cold, and get a little bit of help from Mother Nature to freshen the surface. But we do a lot of grooming, and it's just pretty good snow. It used to be, though, when we were making snow in the 80s, it wasn't very good. It was icy, it had chicken heads. It was, it was pretty crappy, but we're pretty good at it now.
So. Fair enough, man. Well, that's actually interesting, because I have been to Michigan, but it was like a half mile to a mile over the border from Indiana. That's it. Like that's where we were. And so I've never experienced it. So when you say you make your own, are you guys running, like, the majority of your snow is machine made, or is it like a 70-30 blend?
No, it's the majority is machine made. So we don't.
Interesting.
Where we are, we average about 150 inches of snow a year.
Okay.
But it doesn't always stay. It doesn't consistently stay. So we ride, these weather roller coasters. You might have snow on the ground for 3 weeks, and then you have a couple of days of 40 degrees of rain, and it wipes it out. The natural I'm talking about.
Sure.
We'll make quite a base of man-made snow, usually 4 to 6 feet over everything, and then that will hold up through the warm-ups, and then we just have to fix the surface. So we'll run our snowmaking machines, after a thaw to we call it resurfacing. We'll put a new surface down, and then we can have 40 and rain on Wednesday and great winter conditions again on Saturday morning, and people are like, I don't understand how you did this. And this is what we do. We do it with snowmaking.
That's awesome. That's actually very interesting, because we do have some decent snowmaking hills out here in New England as well. And again, I'm only using the comparison out there, folks who are listening, because this is what I know. This is all I know. I've skied in New England and the Mid-Atlantic, and now in the South, and that's it, all in the East. So we're learning. It's a learning experience, and we're learning. But that winter you just described, having a warm up, rain, blah, 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 we just went through that. And here in February and March, it's now been, a couple nor'easters back to back, tons of snow. We all get to ski until April now, when we all thought everything was going to be closed by today. Like, that was going to be it, St. Patrick's Day, and that's it. Now we got it. We got 2, 3, 4 feet of snow in some places over a couple storms. and now everybody's back open again. While we do have snowmaking and do rely on it quite a bit, it's still secondary to the it's still secondary to what's happening. Like, we get our snow. That's very interesting to me. Like, what does that pose logistically, operationally? Like, that's hard work, man.
It is hard. It's really hard. So, we try to make we do it in two big phases. We have, if you look at our trail map, we've got 3 peaks: East Peak, North Peak, and South Peak. And we make trying to make our snow on North Peak and East Peak right away when we can start. Usually in mid-November, we'll start making snow all over those 2 peaks, pretty much cover the whole thing in the first phase.
Yes.
And then we get open and we can move over to South Peak, and we can run snowmaking all over South Peak and just mop up at night on North Peak. And so, we run our guns about at maybe say like 300 to 400 hours a year total. Depends on the year.
Sure.
And the other thing about the man-made, or the man-made snow versus the natural snow, is the crystal that we make is really small. It's really dense, and they tend to bond and pack together. And that's what, gives that snow the stability, and it kind of insulates itself, and it's very weather resistant. And you can groom it every day. Like, if natural snow, if you ran over it, there'd be nothing left.
Sure.
It doesn't have the structure and the durability to be groomed over and over and over and over. So that man-made snow, you can run over it with your tractor night after night after night and still, make corduroy and have it be decent.
That's very interesting to me. Like, it's almost like you're making unique snow out there. Like, that's us, Caberfae. We can bottle it and sell it and trademark it because that's how unique it is.
And I think we do. We've got big pump house, and we're careful about how we make it. We don't make it too wet. We try to make it fairly dry so it's good quality. And I think we make a really good product. I do, and I think the skiers would tell you that. I think if you came here and asked, what's it like here, they would tell you the snow is really consistent, it's really good, and the grooming's really good. And people are super friendly.
Yeah, I love that part.
Yeah. So it's the truth. That's who we are.
You know what? That's one of the reasons, I'm not going to lie about it, that I wanted to try Lifty Work, because I wanted to be the friendly one that everybody wanted to talk to, because I live to talk, and that's me, and whatever. But that's actually still very interesting because, snowmaking is an art. Some people would look at it and say, well, you hook up a fire hose to a nozzle, just like you're hooking up to your house, and spray it when it's the right temperature, and boom, you have snow. But that's not even simplified. That's just wrong. Like, that's not it. That's not it at all. Excuse me. So it really, I want to come check it out now, because I don't know. I really don't know. I've heard tell of Michigan having a lot of lake effect, kind of like what parts of Western New York, as the weather comes off Lake Ontario. And I didn't know if you were all in that belt or not.
We are in a snow belt here, and I think that's why this location was chosen back in the late 30s when they cut the first runs. It was high topography for this part of the world. Higher elevations for here, hilly, and the right aspects. Northwest facing, and a lot of snow. We're probably 30 miles inland from Lake Michigan, which tends, right in one of those, what they call the snow belt. So we do get lake effect, and that's when the lake is warm. Lake Mitchell or Michigan is relatively warm.
Sure.
And you just get northwest winds blowing, and it picks up that moisture, and then it takes it a little ways inland. So you don't get that right on the lakeshore. It goes a little ways inland, and it just drops the snow. And it all as it takes is the wind to blow and the lake to be warm. And you can get lake effect turned on, and it can stay on for days. And we do get that, especially lake effect is usually a early season thing, because then the Lake Michigan will freeze, or part of it will freeze, and then you lose that moisture. But and then it's system snow. But it's the problem we have is that the the temperatures don't stay consistent to hold on to that snow.
Sure.
Some years it does, but like this year's been terrible. This year we've had, thaws, and then we get we get some snow and to get it all nice, and then we have a thaw, and we really never had a true wet winter pattern settle in for this year. But we've still been open since Thanksgiving, and we've had good skiing. It's just been a little more of a struggle than normal. That way.
And I believe it. The West was where it was at this year. The Mid-Atlantic, they're all closing down there already. Here in New England, we got our boost, but whatever. But the West, there's still pictures of there coming out. They're still digging chairs out. But, even you say it was a rough winter, which we all know it was, and, you're doing the majority of your stuff man-made. And I was just quickly taking a look at the webcams over there. It looks like, these are live webcams. You almost got like February. It looks like February.
Yeah. It's good. We got a little snow overnight. And you see today that there's only one chairlift running.
Sure.
See that?
Yeah.
That's because we're dealing with high winds today. So we've got the two triples that you see on the webcam that aren't running normally. They were running earlier, and we had to shut them down and turn the quad on because it handles the wind better. So I just wanted to throw that disclaimer in that normally those lifts are running.
Yeah. So. And that's cool too, though, because however you get up the hill is how you got to get the hill. You can't fight the wind, but man, it looks fantastic.
It is. It's good. It's good. It's good skiing.
Yeah. Yep. I love this one, the East Piece Triple. There's just a run of fan guns up the hill. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
So you're looking at 7 SMI Super Polecats just on that lower part of that hill.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell you we have a lot of firepower out there. We've got a lot of, and in order to run all that, we got a big electrical grid, all buried in the ground, huge network of pipes. So it's and that's what we do in the summers. We put in more snowmaking. We put in the electrical, we put in the pipe. We do all the work ourselves. We fabricate the tower, and the deck, and then we buy the gun and the compressor from SMI in Midland, Michigan, and put it all together. And we'll do more. We do a little bit every year.
Nice. So are you up to 100% coverage yet or no?
Yeah, we have towers over about 90% of our trails. So there are still some trails, a few trails that just rely on natural snow. If you look at our trail map, there's an area called the backcountry.
Sure.
That doesn't have snowmaking. That's all natural snow.
Okay.
But it faces north and it holds its snow pretty good.
Awesome.
There's off of South Peak, there's an area called Stag's Head Bowl. That's all natural snow. There's a few runs like I-75 and South Peak Trail that are all natural snow. So they open and close throughout the year, but the rest of it we make snow on everywhere.
Wow.
And there's fan guns on towers basically everywhere.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Yeah. I don't mean to harp on snowmaking so much, but you have such a great system, and it looks like y'all know how to run it, which is, it's like any other tool. You can have the best tool in the business, but if the person running it doesn't know how to use it, then it's meaningless. Who cares?
Yeah.
You all know what you're doing. Now, you know what? Let's try and get away from it. I promise I'm going to try and get away from snowmaking, but I'm fascinated by it because it is an art form. But Caberfae Peaks out there, you said 2 hours south of the Mackinac Bridge. Now, I know where that is. I've never been there, but I do know where that is. I know Mackinac City's right there. I know, I think it's Mackinac Island is right off of that where there's no cars. So that does put you, being south of all that actually does put you not necessarily a great location for weather, but a great location for visitors. Like, again, the geography off the top of my head, it looks like people can get there from anywhere. Like you're just in a great spot.
We are. US 131 comes up from Kalamazoo through Grand Rapids and right through Cadillac. And so it's expressway, 75 mile an hour speed limit. Get off at Cadillac, and then you're 15 minutes you're in our parking lot. So you can come out of downtown Grand Rapids and have your skis on in an hour and a half.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool, and the Grand Rapids metropolitan area is probably 1 million people down there. So that's our biggest draw is that. But we do pull people out of everywhere. There's bring people out of Lansing. We bring people out of the Midland, Bay City, Saginaw area, out of Detroit.
Okay.
They come from everywhere, you know.
Nice. Now, are you size-wise? You said there's about 6 majors in your area. Are you all the top, or is everybody about the same? Or
we're all in the range of the like 350 to 500 vertical feet. So we're at 485 at Caberfae.
okay,
The highest hills north of us are like just over 500.
all right,
Some of them are 350. You know, so it even 300. I think one of them. So we don't have a lot of vertical.
yeah,
but it's all right. It's enough, and it's still a hill. And we have good lifts, modern equipment, and it's skiing. It's just a little bit different than what you're used to. You guys have it pretty good out there, and you're in New Hampshire, correct?
Vermont, but I'm I'm on the
Vermont.
border. I'm on the border,
Okay,
but
so
I'm on the Vermont side. Yeah,
Vermont is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we've driven out there, my family, and skied at J Peak and Smuggler's
Nice.
Notch, and
okay,
that's phenomenal out there. I would love to have those big mountains. We don't have that, but
sure.
it's still skiing, and it's great.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I frequent places that are under 1,000 vertical. I'm a firm supporter of the Indy Pass. Shout out to them and their new owner. Shout out to Doug. You know, he knows I love him a ton. I love the Indy Pass. I love Whaleback out here. It tops at 600 and change, 700 feet. You know, so its vert is not a lot, but it's got a lot of character. Now, could your mountain be described as the same? Like, just because you don't have a lot of vert doesn't mean you don't have challenging runs or fast runs, or you know, you got your groomers. You said you have some ungroomed stuff. Like, your mountain still has the character. It still has everything you can look for, I assume.
Oh yeah, it does. It has everything, and so we have really good terrain for intermediate skiers. When you're like that, you know, that advanced beginner through advanced intermediate, we're really good. We have a lot of long cruiser stuff, but then over on South Peak, we got some nice steeps for the experts and good beginner area on Green Mountain for where the conveyor is to start out, and then we've got like all the natural stuff, right? So you get the conditions Mother Nature gives you. So there's a little bit of everything, and then, you know, we're not flashy at Caberfae, so we're like the ski area where everybody's welcome, and where, you know, Carhartt is more fashionable than I don't even know what people are wearing. Spider, you know, you'd be more at home here in Carhartts than you would be, and so and we accept everybody, you know. And one of the things that we have at Caberfae that's probably as good as for this as anybody and that I've ever seen anywhere in the country is the facility we have for people that bring their own lunch. We have a whole building, a whole lodge called the Skyview, 6,000 square feet. It's got 3 gas fireplaces, Adirondack chairs, picnic tables all over inside. There's cubbies, tons and tons of cubbies for people to put their stuff. There's power strips all along the top of the cubbies for crock pots. There's a huge tub sink for washing your crock pot, a water bottle filler, microwaves. Like, it is, and you can drive right up to it, unload your car, park your car. There's a ticket booth right next door. So it's pretty nice. Like, if you bring your own food, not only do we welcome you, we give you a really great place to be. So that's really cool, and that's really unique. And that kind of gives, I'm only telling you that because that gives you an idea what this place is like.
Yeah, and I love that you did, because I know several people who listen to this show, to the Skier Expedia podcast. You just sold them on the place, because that is more, you know, obviously way more convenient. Over the past few years, especially for the bigger corporate run places, food has been a big talk, in that, you know, it's now 3-piece chicken fingers and fries is $25, and people are like, what is that? You know? So that, and then during the pandemic, people, you know, couldn't go in the lodge anyway. So tailgating came back in a big way. And I was going to ask if that was part of your hill, if you all still do that, still allow it, don't allow it, because that also kind of speaks to the type of mountain you are. But you set up an entire lodge for those who are just coming and moving in. Like it really is very homey, very not just convenient, but what's the word I'm trying to think of? I don't know, but people know what I'm trying to say. You really do like and love your guests, it would seem.
Yeah, absolutely. And try to make it good for them. And so, we're also known for our value. Our pricing is competitive. We're below, our day ticket prices are below all our competitors. And we have really good early season pass deals. And so we try to make it affordable. Like we try to make it so that, a person who's a working guy or family in Michigan can buy passes and get their kids up here and teach them how to ski and enjoy it, and just be part of the family. So that's our mission.
Yes. And that actually is another reason, Stuart and I were joking about how Tim and I have the same first and last name, but not related, mind you, that I'm aware of. You never know. But he said, Caberfae Peaks was going to be right up my alley because these are the places I frequent. Again, I brought up the Indy Pass because a lot of places on the Indy Pass aren't like, for New Englanders, Killington, corporate owned, big, $100+ day ticket, $150 on some days, I think. And now there's places out there that are running $250 and more. I hang out at Whaleback. I live 15 minutes away. Their most expensive ticket on a Saturday is $50. Like, you can't beat that. Well, you can, but it's not easy. Their pass. I bought my pass for $2. Like, it's not a lot. They still make skiing accessible. They still do it for the community. They do it for the little guy. And that's what you guys seem to be doing up there. And again, I bring up the Indy Pass not because Caberfae Peaks is not on it, but you are independent.
No, we're on it.
Oh, you are on it.
We're on and we were one of the first. We jumped when Doug launched that thing. We jumped right on it. So we've been on it since the beginning. And so we're definitely part of it.
See, I made this joke talking to Doug Fish. I says, Doug, if anybody can come, and this was at the end of last year, like in November, so there was less mountains on it than there are even now. And I said, if someone can come to me without looking and recite every single mountain that's part of it, I'll give them something. I can't even do it. Doug can't even do it. In fact, when we were talking, he had it in front of him and I had it in front of me too. So there you go. Now I have even more reason to come visit you all. And I would really like to. How does the Indy Pass work out for you all? Did it bump you? Did it?
At first it didn't do much,
Okay.
And I had pretty low expectations when we first did it. I just was like, hey, this is cool.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. What the heck? I mean, this guy, this Doug Fish guy is pretty cool and seems to have a plan and I like him and let's just be part of this. Like, it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're not Icon, we're not Epic, we'll just be Indy.
Sure.
And I really didn't have much expectation. I thought we're just like, we're throwing $1,500 away here. But let's do this. Then the next year we did a little bit more, but this year it's going off. We're getting a lot of people are buying them, and a lot of people are redeeming them, and so it's been good. I would say it's a good. It's positive. I'm really glad we're part of it. So
awesome,
and it's getting us some exposure that I don't think we would have gotten otherwise. So we're getting people that don't usually come here.
Yeah,
and we've been improving Caberfae like doing something every year for a number of years. And we just put a lift in this past summer. So that East Peak lift is brand new.
Oh, there you go.
So people come here and they're like, whoa, I didn't know this place was here. Yeah. I didn't know this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I think the Indy Pass is really helping us a lot now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's good.
I respect the Indy Pass, just like you said. Like, there were places on it here that I had never heard of, or maybe heard of and blanked. Again, don't have the greatest memory in the world and don't know every hill in the world, but I've gone to places that are small, and then some people will still say, well, small means like, what do they have? It's like, well, they have what the big place has. It's just smaller. But it doesn't mean it's like old, shot out, running off. It isn't the old time rope tow that's, someone took their pickup truck, took the rear tire off, to run the rope tow, which personally I would love to see, but gas is expensive, so we're not doing that. But you have all the modern equipment. Like, obviously, again, we talked about your snowmaking. It's right there on the webcam. It is modern guns. Like, that stuff can pump snow. You have a brand new lift. I'm sure your lodge is beautiful. I haven't looked at pictures of your lodge and stuff yet, but you're keeping up. You're keeping modern.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we put everything we make back into this place, and
good
do the work ourselves with our crew, and try to make it better every year. So we got a kind of a cool thing going on here at Caberfae. It's a cool vibe, and we're putting it all back in and making it better, and so it's good. It's really good. You should come and check it out.
Oh,
I highly recommend it.
Dude, 100% sold. Like, I have a few things I want to get done next year because I didn't get them done this year. Hey, man, that's illness and injury. That's skiing. That's right. You get hurt. But I want to go to Michigan. Now, most people, when they talk Michigan, they talk, what is that, Bohemia up there?
Yeah, and that's cool. That's a cool place.
I've heard it is. I've looked at their trail map, and I was like, yeah, that might not be for me. That is the easiest trail is a single diamond, I think. And I don't know. I'm decent, but
they don't do any grooming. They don't make any snow, and they don't do any grooming. So, as you know from New England,
sure,
you go to your ski areas. You go to the ski areas, and they'll have some trails that they don't groom.
Yeah,
and you know that like 80% of the time they're terrible, but on powder day they're phenomenal, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
You catch it on the right day, it's going to be great, and most days it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, and that's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and I mean, and again, I've been saying, like, Whaleback, my home mountain right here. Pardon my sniffles, everybody. But they have a fair amount of ungroomed as well, and it turns the greens and the blues to blacks very quickly. And you have to not just know how to ski, but have the lung capacity to do it. Because when you have to, like, look, I love cruising groomers, I really do, but it's effortless. You don't have to do much. Once you get into the ungroomed stuff, you're breathing heavy, and my lung. Workout, kids. That's what I'm telling you, cardio.
And I guess like terrible was not the right word. It's challenging, right? It's challenging. You got to know how to ski. And so when I lived out west in Winter Park, they have tons of trails that are not sure. Like Mary Jane is bump central.
Yeah.
But at 53, like I am now, I don't want that, man. I want the corduroy. I'm getting old, slower, and those bump days were behind me. So I'm spoiled.
And I'm glad you say it because I'm right there with you, man. I am just good cruising. Sure, I'll dip once in a while for the fun of it. But yeah, I still at sometimes with the group say, hey, I'm just going to go around this way and I'll meet you down there. You guys go have your fun in the trees. And that's what I do. And that's what you do. And that's great though. And again, people know Bohemia. That's where I was going with this. I lost my train of thought for a second there. That's where I was going with this. People know that place, but they're obviously, if there's the second most ski areas in Michigan, only behind New York, second only to New York State, and everybody immediately guesses it's all out west. It's not. There's more skiing in the East than anywhere else in the U.S. and in the Midwest, obviously. But people hear about the one, but you can hit Caberfae before even getting anywhere near that place. So let's just go there, man. Why not?
Yeah. Come here. That'd be great. And there's a lot in the Lower Peninsula. You got Boyne and Boyne Highlands are big names. Boyne USA is a big conglomerate. They have ski areas out west and out east, and so they've got pretty expansive hills in Michigan, and then there's Crystal Mountain and Caberfae, Shanty Creek. Those are the big ones. Those are your big players. And Nub's Knob. You don't want to leave them out.
Okay.
And then there's some other smaller ones that are also, relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of neat. Caberfae, Crystal Mountain, Nub's Knob, and Shanty Creek in an area called Treetops are all on the Indy Pass.
Yeah.
So you've got Boyne and the Highlands, or whatever they're calling themselves these days. They are part of the Icon.
Yep.
And so that the rest of us kind of said, all right, well, we're going to be Indy. We're going to gang up on you.
Yeah.
And we're going to outnumber you with the Indy Pass. So it's kind of fun. Just we're with all the northern Michigan ski areas, really everybody in the Midwest, we all know each other, and we all like each other and root for each other. So it's all fun.
Yes.
When I banter and tease them, it's all in good fun. I would expect them to do the same back. So we get along.
Yeah, and that's a big thing in the area. I mean, there is obviously some competition. It's capitalism. That's what it is. We're all here to make money, but we all can get our share if we all play nice. And that's what a lot of mountain operators, from executive directors, general managers, operations managers, whatever the title may be, say, yeah, we want the business too, but we're not trying to put that guy out of business. We're not trying to do that, and we'll help each other out. I've talked to a few people out here, John Hunt at Whaleback, Tom Day over at Gunstock, and Waterville's Tim Smith, and they've all said, if something breaks, we'll call the next place over, see if they have one, instead of trying to order it and wait a week for it to get here, and then we'll install it. It's a big community. That's what snow sports is. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would, same thing. One of the neighboring resorts calls and something's down or they need something, I'm going to try my best to help them and get them going again. You want them to do well, and we really all need each other to do well, right? We
Sure.
want more people to ski, and not one area can handle all the demand. So we want more and more people to ski. I want to fill all the ski areas.
Yeah.
And grow the sport. That's what we have. That's what we need to do. And when the winter's good, there's enough for everybody. So there's no reason to be cutthroat.
Yeah, no, there's no reason for that. And for the guest, I have to imagine, this is like, my thing is, I like driving around to other places. Yeah, I'm at Whaleback all the time. It's right here. And again, the beauty of the Indy Pass, there's so many places, and like people who live around you who just have so many right next door. I have so many right next door, and I get to go see all this stuff, and no real competition. Everybody's in it to get their thing, and every place is different. Obviously, you go to Caberfae Peaks, then you go to Nubs Knob, then you take the drive all the way up to Bohemia. Everybody's different, and that's the beauty of having all these places, I think. It's all different, all unique.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, they all have something unique to offer.
Excuse me, everyone. I'm coughing and sniffling today. It's awful. Yeah, everybody's got something unique, and it doesn't have to be big. Now, I was looking at some of your photos here on the website, and it almost looks like you could be like some of the buildings here. I'm not sure which or what, but there's this one building. It's got a whole bunch of rooms and a pool in front of it. It looks brand new and fancy. Like,
yeah,
good.
That's the Mackenzie Lodge. It actually was built in the late 60s.
Sure.
And but we've been renovating it slowly over the last 20 years. And so we redid the balconies, we redid the portico, we redid that whole pool area a few years back. Like all new concrete, put heat in the concrete so it doesn't get ice.
Sure.
So we've really redone that whole building, the lobby, the bar, the rooms have all been redone. And one of the cool things about our lodge, the Mackenzie Lodge, is it's only has 39 rooms. Okay. So that's all we have for bed base. So it's kind of cool if you're staying here, because it's not overly jam packed with people. It's kind of like a little secret society out here in the Manistee National Forest. And we have 39 lockers, and they're all on the first floor. So, okay. I mean, you talk about ski in, ski out. That's literally, you open the door and set your skis on the snow, and you ski out of there. I mean, you can touch the building. It's that ski in, ski out.
That's awesome.
Every one of those lockers has boot dryers in it. So you put your boots on the boot dryer, you put your skis in the locker, you put your flip flops on, and you go up to your room. I mean, it's super, super cool. It's really, really convenient and really popular. And then Beatty's Bar and Grill is right there with, sports on TV and good food, and Jessica and Steve are behind the bar making everybody feel welcome. And it's really, really cool. It's a really nice place.
it looks it, and you know, again, it speaks to one of the things I try to do is kill the stereotypes. Like, just because it's small and out of the way doesn't mean you're not going to get everything you want. That seems like a pretty high end experience, you know, and it looks great. There's an aerial shot that I'm looking at, and you got all your buildings look brand new. The place looks brand new. And again, speaking to the uniqueness of it, to take a step back, there's, you know, unique as in like what is the topography or what is the flora or whatever. It's like you have the tops of your peaks are bare. There's no trees. Where are the trees?
Yeah, so we're trying to grow more trees. We've done some terrain development over the years.
Sure.
And those are built up. So that's why they're like that. And we are getting some trees growing on the sides.
Sure.
But it's tough, man. It's tough to get them.
Oh, totally.
So, you know, we're working towards that, but that there are more trees on. They're smaller, but like a lot of them are just buried in the snow because we've got some snow made. So that's just like white. Just has those trees packed right in, you know, with the like they're buried in the snow.
That's interesting. But again, it speaks to how every mountain has something unique. And man, just looking at this picture, it's almost like it's way more than 500 vertical feet. It looks huge. And again, now going back to having everything you want, it looks like you have lights on everything. Like you all could ski till dawn if you wanted.
Yeah, so we do. We do a big night skiing business in the middle of the year in the winter. So we we ski Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, and then we close early Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
And so we have lights on almost everything. It's a couple the far side of South Peak, or to the right as you're looking at the picture.
Sure.
That half is not lit. We call it the dark side.
Okay.
And then Funnel Cake, which is like the left side of the East Peak area, doesn't have lights. But so we do consolidate skiing a little bit, but
sure,
all the lifts still run at night. We have plenty of terrain.
Yeah, man.
So
it's really, like I said, I try to kill it that it's small and out of the way means it's nothing to bother with. This place looks very fancy, looks fancier than you would expect for being more comfortable in Carhartt. Like me and my friends and a lot of my listeners appreciate a place that won't throw you off the mountain for having duct tape fixing the holes in your jacket, man. Like they embrace it and we love that.
Yeah. Where'd you get that coat?
Exactly. That's it. Like, dude, that's fashion. Like, dude, that's duct tape, because we love that. Dude, the place looks fantastic. It's so much more. And I went into this completely cold. Like I read through Stuart's article, and that was great. But I paid more attention to the history, and that's more his thing than mine. I mean, I love history, and I love seeing a trail map that has so many surface lifts and 2 chairs. Like, that's incredible to me. Every trail had its own lift, which is interesting for a couple reasons. One, because you don't see that anymore. And 2, like, wow, if you really just wanted to be on one trail all day, that's it. You're just up and down, up and down, up and down. But I came at it cold because I wanted to learn, and I've learned a lot. Mostly snowmaking, and with that snowmaking, again, go to caberfaepeaks.com, look at their photos. All the photos look like February here. Like for majority snowmaking, it doesn't look like it. That just looks like you all get bombed with natural to me.
Yeah, it's so, you know, I'm looking out the window right now. We have like a 1/2 inch of natural snow on the ground, and so everything else is just it's man-made, and the natural snow for us is like icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
Makes everything look nice, but we couldn't make a living off of it, that's for sure.
No, that's amazing. And the place just looks fantastic. 100%. Even if you don't have an Indy Pass and you're close by, check this out. It looks more than worth it to me to take a ride out there. Like I'm looking at a couple more of the photos from the air, and there's just snow guns everywhere. There's people everywhere. Looks like you actually have a fairly good-sized parking lot, too. I assume you must need it.
Yeah, oh yeah, we do. We fill it right up on the weekend, especially Saturdays and during the holiday periods. We're
sure.
pretty busy place.
Man, yeah. It just looks so much bigger than it is, and I assume it skis bigger than it is, like, or than it looks like. I mean, you've been out there, I assume, and skied it. It's the kind of place you could do in a day, but you get everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good. And I mean, it's the kind of place that there's people that, will bypass and ski here, 20, 30 times a year, and they love it every time, so there's enough for sure to keep you busy for a long, long time, especially for a day or two. If you've never been here before, because like the North Peak complex, there's the two, there's Vista and the Quad are right next to each other. And they service a run around the outside called Smiling Irishman, which is a nice big green boulevard. And then that interconnects with a whole bunch of trails underneath. And they're the different run combinations that you can ski. It might take you a day just to try all the different combinations of the ways that you can put that together.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. It's really popular. I mean, we have tons and tons of people going through there all day long. They love it. And really people of all levels. You think it'd be just beginners because it's mostly green, but I see people really good riders, telliers that rip and snowboarders that rip, and they're cruising right down through that stuff, buffing it. So it appeals to everybody.
Absolutely. It appeals to me. I'm sold. I want to come visit. I will do that next season because we're going to run out of season quick here, I fear. Plus, I'm so busy and behind. Oh, what a mess I am. But I am 100% sold. I want to load up the Partridge Family bus with a bunch of heads and head out. It's not hard to get to. As you said, it's on a main route, 75 miles an hour. That's not hard. It's a day's drive from here. Well, maybe a little more, but I could do it. I'm not worried about that. Very cool, sir. Caberfaepeaks.com, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. And when you go there, you can do everything that you can do on any snow mountain's website. So there you go, any ski hill's website. Go there, check it out. Check out the webcams. You'll see the place looks great. Check out the photos. Again, for a place that's majority machine made, it doesn't look like it. And it looks so much bigger and just awesome. And I really want to check it out. Thank you, sir. Is there anything I missed that you want to throw out there?
No, I really appreciate you having me on, Tim. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an honor for me to be on Vermont's kind of you guys are one of the ski capitals of the United States. So it's a pretty big honor for me. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, sir. And the honor is mine. Again, you hear about stuff, but I didn't even gotten to experience it. Like Vermont, I've been up and down. I can tell you about, again, Vermont ski culture in quotes, because I can't get a better word than culture, but we're a little different. Michigan's a little different. And after talking to Tim Smith, how many Tims are there in this business? So many. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And we have the same last name. It's a great name. Name your kids Tim. In fact, name their middle name Meyer if your last name isn't Meyer. Just saying. Meyer for those who don't know. Now, but there's so many differences. And again, the uniqueness of the regions, here in New England, we have what we have. And then you can just jump north over the border and you can get up into like Canada and get up into like the Chick-Chocs, and people see video of that like, oh, that must be the Rockies. Like, nah, dude, that's over here in the East. Like, we have stuff. And then the Midwest, the Rockies, Canadian Rockies, the PNW, whatever it is, the Southern Rockies, Arizona, everybody's different and we love it. And I'm interested in all of it. And like I said, Vermont, we have our reputation. New Hampshire has their reputation. People love coming here, but I want to go from here to there now. And I want to check that out. So everybody, next year, put it on your calendar. We're all heading out to Caberfae Peaks. And if you don't come with me, I will just go on my own. Right? Right. Tim Meyer from Caberfae Peaks, sir. Thank you very much for joining in.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And there he goes. This Tim Meyer from Ski Rex Media has now finished up speaking with Tim Meyer from Caberfae Peaks, and that place does sound kind of awesome. And like I said, it looks awesome too. Caberfaepeaks.com. Go check it out, man. Check out their webcams. Check out their photo gallery like I was saying during the episode, man. It looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to head out there and check it out. I'm sure Tim will welcome this Tim with open arms, and you never know, maybe we'll get another Tim who's not a Tim Meyer to go with us. I don't know. But it does look great. It is an Indy Pass mountain, so I know a bunch of my listeners are Indy Pass fans and have the Indy Pass. So if you're looking for a place to go that's a little different, that you've never been to, you're looking to take a little bit of a trip, you're looking to head to the state with the second most ski areas in America, in the United States, head out to Caberfae Peaks and check that place out. It sounds cool, and I think Tim did a great job talking about it. But with that, we come to the end of yet another Ski Rex Media podcast, which I did hope you enjoy, and I do hope you enjoyed, if I want to say that correctly. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Contact at skirexmedia.com, or you could just go to skirexmedia.com. Contact information is there, or you can go to Ski Rex Media's social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and you can send me a DM from any one of those to send me any questions, comments, concerns, queries, podcast ideas, podcast guest ideas. If you want to pitch yourself as a podcast guest, that's fine. You could do that too. It happens from time to time. In fact, we're going to have another guest who contacted me first, and that's going to be awesome. Actually, I think it was via Dan Egan, as a matter of fact. I'm pretty sure Egan told this person about me, and then they came to me, and we're going to leave it as a secret until I have done all my research and I have scheduled the recording, and that'll be coming up soon. Plus the many times teased Teen Tween episode competitive edition for this season is going to get done. I've been trying to get it scheduled, and I'm going to end up doing like I did last year and recording each of the kids separately and then putting it together as an episode for you all. And we'll just get I would love to have them all talking together, but I don't think I'm going to get it done. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm trying. I really am trying. But either way, please subscribe, follow. That way you'll always know what comes out, no matter who the guest is, no matter when I get it done and get the scheduling done. You'll always know if you follow/subscribe to the Ski Rex Media Podcast on the Podbean app or your favorite podcasting app, or even on YouTube. You can check out YouTube. I've been posting videos to YouTube as well. They're just compilations of stuff I use for social media. So if you're a social media subscriber, maybe you've seen it all, or maybe you haven't, and you could just subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you could check out the podcast, and you could check out the videos as I put them up. You can also get the podcast. Now, the podcast comes out on Wednesday. You know that. And I do ads in the Wednesday show. But if you want it ad free, you could head to Patreon. You can find the Ski Rex Media Podcast on Patreon. Tiers start at $1. There's free trials for all tiers. For that, some of the stuff that you get are early access to the podcast. You get a whole other podcast, the darker side of Ski Rex Media. You get some other stuff there as well, like behind the scenes or extra audio or other bonus features, or you get some early access to news, of Ski Rex Media. Or if you just want to help kick in a few bucks for the channel, you could do it that way too. The channel, the Ski Rex Media, not just the channel, but Ski Rex Media as a whole. You could head to the Patreon and check that out. Patreon.com/Ski Rex Media. Also, if you are at skirexmedia.com, you can sign up for the update newsletter. It's just updates from here. Sometimes it's where I'm skiing. Sometimes it's who's coming up on the podcast. Sometimes it's other things. Just to let people know what's going on. You never know what you might see there. You could check that out as well. Right. I think that's everything for today. As I said, happy St. Patrick's Day we're recording on St. Patrick's Day. I'm recording this right now on St. Patrick's Day. I recorded with Tim on St. Patrick's Day. It's St. Patrick's Day. That's why I said happy St. Patrick's Day at the beginning. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope you enjoyed the rest of March, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, tell me. And if you did, tell me, and follow me everywhere and subscribe wherever you can and leave ratings and tell your friends. Right. Here's the closing music. I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy your season, or what's left of it. If you're in a place that closes for the outdoor season, you know what I'm trying to say. I'll see you out there. Here's some metal later.